Hello again and welcome to Let's Play Towns. In the last episode we lost the miner again, started digging through here. In fact, did anyone pick up the corpse of that miner? It would appear they did. Yeah, I think that's the remains. And there was a thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that's actually a positive thing for once. For once I'm having positive news. It's actually not news, I'm just trying to do a bit of service here. Because as you all know, I am working as Santa Claus over Christmas. And I also already had my first Santa Claus jobs this year. They went pretty well. And what I wanted to talk to you about is stories. Now, sometimes you actually have to tell the story because what I usually do is I usually go in there, do the ho 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 thing, and why did you die? Okay, we found another bit of the dungeon. Hooray! Yay us! We found more dungeon. And I'm gonna stop digging after that because now I actually have to wait for my heroes to clear this out, and I only have one miner left. Okay. Now, oh, alright, stories. So sometimes you have to tell a story. Um, Usually I don't because when I get in there, when I enter a place, I usually yep do the ho 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 thing, and then I what am I doing then? Don't go there! Don't go there! Don't go there! Don't go pick a fight! Oh right, you're a soldier. You can go pick a fight. What do I want to say now? Right, so you can usually get away quite good with having the children recite poems or sing songs to you. But sometimes there are not enough people around. Like if there are only if they're celebrating in a very small circle and there aren't that many presents to go around, that's also something you can use very well to fill the time basically. Just the handing out of presents. But what? Yeah, if that doesn't work, you have to tell a story. And I have a few rules for picking out my stories. Now this year I've actually used a story that my cousin wrote back when he was Santa Claus, and he had the same problem. He was trying to find a story and he didn't find one, so he didn't find one he liked. So he ended up writing his own. I liked it, and he sent it to me so I could use it as well. And this year was the first year where I used it because I had one of those Santa Claus jobs was in a place I had already been to in the past 2 years, or past 3 years by now. So I didn't want to reuse the same story. Which means I basically had to... Oh, this might be a bad idea here. Yeah, I think we need a new hero. That's a real shame. I like this one. Why did he have to go in there alone? Oh well, we need a barbarian corpse. No, not a barbarian corpse, we need a barbarian tomb. That's a Highlander tomb. And I liked him. He was promising. But there's nothing I can do about this. Like, I could have tried to prevent it, but how? That's the thing. There was no feasible way to prevent it. Also, why aren't those people not put into graves? Did I set up another graveyard somewhere? Why don't I know of this other graveyard? Because I can't inscribe my tombs that way. Anyway, so yeah, he wrote his story, and this year I used this story. And yeah, my criteria for stories are basically those. First off, it must not be too long, because basically I have a very tight schedule. I'm trying to use my stories all the time. Like I'm trying to pick stories that I can use both for those single things and for the Santa Claus for those group shows and for the thing on Christmas Eve. And especially on the leather, I have a very tight schedule, which means I can't read a long story. I could, but then I would be late for the next show and for the next appointment, and that would suck because people get really antsy if you're late as Santa Claus. Um, Also, I can't do it in groups because the larger the group is, the shorter their attention span is. That's something that I have noticed, and I think everybody will agree on. If you have a group of kindergarten children, they don't sit still for very long. Um, that is always difficult. Oh, I thought I had cleared out this thing already. So you can't have a long story there either. Oh, great. You know what? We'll just clear out this level and dig down. I don't feel like risking another mine or just for. Oh no, we don't have to. We still find more stuff here. Um, so yeah, I can't have a long story there either because I know at the end I'll have lost all the children's attention. Now the next thing is I don't want it to be too childish. There are very beautiful stories for children, but I don't want to go too childish. And there are a whole lot of stories that are just that. They are too childish for my taste. Or too silly, too dumbed down, and too simple. I mean, the ones I got are simple as well, but they are not that simple. They're not. I don't know. I don't know how to describe, but I think the protagonists are often very, very, very dumb, and the style just is very, very, let's say, simple, and I don't like that. So that's a thing. Do I need Zombite? I think it was that. I think I need Ogrite. Um, our next rule is it must not be too religious. Because if it is religious, or if it's very religious, I mean, I could just go and read the Christmas tale of from the Bible, but I don't want to do that because I think that as Santa Claus, you're the incorporation of the secular Christmas, and that is not quite the thing that would warrant going about preaching to people. Like I'm quite sure if I went and read the Christmas story, or if I went to tell them some really really deeply religious story, people would get pissed at me. At least some of them would, and that's nothing I can risk. It's also not my job to preach to them at Christmas because I'm dressed up as freaking Santa Claus. So no, not gonna happen. The fourth thing is they must not be too sad. That's something I prefer because there are a lot of stories that are really really sad. Classic example being the Girl with the Matchsticks by Hans Christian Andersen. It is a kind of beautiful story, but the girl's dead at the end, and that's nothing I want to leave the children with. I mean, they will learn that the world's a cruel place, but it's not my job to teach them. At least not that. I also don't want. I don't think it's appreciated to feel this kind of or this sense we are sorry for for how good we have it on Christmas because people I think they are more into being reminded of that they just have it that good and not that they should be sorry about having it that good because there are a lot of people who don't have it that good, if that made sense. Um, the fourth thing is it must not be Rudolph the reindeer. This has a variety of reasons. The first is it is like the everyman story. There are two stories that are basically used as a base for almost every Christmas special ever. One of them being the Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, was it, right? Which is a great story, mind you, but it is well known. And the other is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And people just know it, and I don't want to go around. I mean, as Santa Claus, you're traveling around as this. You're basically pretending to be this well-traveled old man who has seen everything. And I think that warrants that you at least have a decent story they don't necessarily know about, or they haven't been basically bombed with during the Christmas season, or really the pre-Christmas season, if there's such a thing. There actually is. So that's why one of the reasons. The second is, as I've already mentioned, there are a bazillion different specials, shows, movies that use this particular material and this particular story. I mean, I think there was a relatively recent Disney version of it. There are millions of cartoons and what have you, and kids remember this. They actually they actually ask you stuff about this if you come up with this, or if you come to them with this story. They will ask you about what they saw in whatever the last version they saw. And if you don't know that, and if you answer that question wrong, you lose credibility. It's simple as that, and I'll try to avoid that by not picking this story. So yeah, right now I have, and because of all those rules, there might actually be another I forgot now. Might also not be too short, although there is really no that short story. But yeah, that's basically my four criteria for a good story to read to read to children on Christmas as Santa Claus. Obviously, if you have a lot of time on your hands, you can go with more. If you have, oh, we got a new hero here, another Highlander, Gandalf. Is he wearing? Why are you? Oh, he's using a goblin head as his weapon. That's kind of creepy. Christmas, everybody. Yeah. So that's basically my four rules, and trying to stick to those usually gets me into one sort of problem. It takes ages to find a good story. Because most of the stories you can find, if you just Google Christmas stories, are just that. They are just either too childish, too long, too sad, too religious, everything of the above, or Rudolph the fucking reindeer. I apologize for that, but I really hate this story. I don't know why. I just hate it. It's not a bad one, but it's just bland. And yeah, because of that, if I need a story, I always end up looking for several hours, and it's it really annoys me every time I have to do it. So that's why I try to go with the same stories every year. I usually don't need to visit the same family twice. I mean, I've never done that before, and or at least I know of no year when I had the same family twice. This year it might actually happen because several people have actually requested me specifically. It was kinda honoring, really, to see that people want me and nobody else as their Santa Claus. I mean, okay, one of those people is someone I know from the training, so that technically doesn't count. But I have been called by a family that had me last year, and they really wanted to know if they could get me specifically again. And I think that's great because it really tells you that you have been doing a pretty good job. And yep, it's nice to see. I mean, you don't linger around for too long on the on Christmas Eve because you kind of have to get going, so they can't really do too much in terms of like reviewing or discussing it with you, and you just have to be on your way. The sooner the better. And yeah, I'm just happy about it. And I'm really looking forward to. Oh my goodness, what is that? It's just a Berserk patrol. And I'm really looking forward to the Christmas Eve because it's gonna be fun. At least I think it's gonna be fun. Did I just lose another hero? No, I didn't. We have a lot of dungeon delving here. So yeah, that's one of my few secrets of I don't know what generates a lot of things with a seemingly unique name. Oh my, we lost another Highlander. Those things die like flies. That is another thing that the game really needs. It's some hero balancing because Highlanders don't do very well. Might just be the way I play the games, although since I don't control the Highlanders, I don't tell them to go there or tell them to do that, I don't feel I need to take the blame for them actually dying a lot. Now where is that Highlander 2? Barbarian, Punchwood, Sips, X, Herbalist, Highlander. We need another of those. Hooray. Okay, so this episode was kinda nice. I've been talking a lot. We've seen some dungeoning, dungeon delving. Is it dungeoneering? I don't know. We've also seen a lot of. I've told you one of the secrets of being Santa Claus, and I hope you make good use of it. I figured some of you might actually have to do it for like younger siblings, or maybe you even do it as a job as well. So I figured I might share some of my knowledge with you, because that's really one of the few things I really have. I mean, I've been doing it for 8 years now. This is my 8th year as a Santa Claus. So you could say I'm experienced at it. And yeah, that is one of the reasons. And it's just preparation, really. Preparation is, I'd say, 80 to 90% of the job. Because I actually spend like at least half a day to a full day just preparing stuff. Calling people, planning the tour, checking the actual tour, just trying if I can find everything and trying to see where the streets go and what the area is like. And yeah, that's pretty damn good. It's always fun, it's always nice, but it's just something that you have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind that you have to do it, and it's not that easy. Well, it is easy, but it's not that quick. You can't just go and jot down some addresses and be on your way. It has to be a lot of stuff. Like I don't have to just write down the addresses. I have to look them up. I have to plan where I want to go. I have to figure out how to get from point A to point B. I have to call all the people. That's really annoying. I have to prepare my notes for about children and all that stuff. I have to prepare my notes for the houses. Like where do they put the presents? What's on the doorbell? That's one of the core questions you have to ask. What does your doorbell sign say? Because some people give you their name as it is requested in the document thing that the university or the yeah, it's basically the university that does it gives them, or the online form. But then they celebrate with their grandparents or at their family's house, and they have different names. So let's say their name is Miller, and they give you that, and then they might even give you the right address at which they are celebrating. But they're celebrating at their grandparents' house, and those their name is Baker, so you end up looking for the right doorbell and you can't find it. That's one of the things you definitely want to avoid. So just try to keep it in mind if you do it. And yep, that's why I always ask for the right names, just so I don't have to call them on the actual evening. It's also a bit of a credibility thing because I think the children will notice if you call, or will sort it out if there was a call like 5 minutes before Santa Claus appeared on the on the door. So that's all those little things that you have to consider, but they really round off the entire experience for everybody, and that's what you should strive towards. I mean, of course, it's also about the money, but I figured I noticed it's really just a lot easier to do the job if you really have your mental focus uh, on giving people a good show, making sure everybody has a nice Christmas evening and has a good time. That's really all. That's uh, all I have to say about it. I kill that Spider Queen. Thank you. And with that, I will bow out of this episode. This was not the Christmas special. It was just a very Christmas-themed episode of Let's Play Towns. Just because I didn't have anything else to talk about, really. Um, there will probably be a Christmas special. I've actually tried to record it, but I messed it up, so I'm gonna try to record it again and again and again. I already had what feels like 30 takes in it. I might actually do something entirely different, but there have been plans for a Christmas special, and I still need to record it. I probably will record it like shortly before Christmas, and hopefully it works out this time. It was not that recording or anything failed. It was just I failed because I didn't feel that what was or the way I presented it was a good way, or the way I wanted it to be presented. Um, Dwarf, you could have at least stayed for the health to get to safety. Oh well, don't. That a caravan has arrived. Let's see what they brought. And after that, we'll cut off the episode, and I'll see you all next. Well, I'm not going to cut it off right now. But yeah. Also, some comments I should probably reply to. Last time we had a bone merchant, and something I forgot was that I could actually give him all the bones we had sitting around, which is a fair amount. Ooh, a rooster died. Where did that happen? Oh, there. Well, at least we have a raw poultry source now. Poultry? How do you pronounce it? Okay. There we go, they're ready to trade. Do they have what I want? That doesn't look good. They have a lot of wooden rubbish for me to buy. Nope, they don't. I thought those had like decent stuff at some point. I thought those boats had, for example, animals. Speaking of that, that reminds me of the Banished display we had a while ago, or still having. I ended up recording a lot more because I was having a very good time with it. When you should, I think you've seen that part already. We are having a bit of a famine in the Banished Let's Play right now. So sorting that out was kind of a challenge because before that it was more like, okay, we're slowly expanding, we're doing this, we're doing that, and now we're having something that needs immediate attention and that basically needs to be sorted out. And that had grabbed my attention and has done a reasonably good job at keeping me invested into the game again. So I ended up doing a lot more than the 2 episodes I wanted to, and it was fun. I don't regret it. It was really, sincerely fun. I was enjoying it. I was having a blast there. And yeah, that's what the game does to you sometimes. Also, it would appear that somebody is going to run into some zombies here. Why paused again? No. Nope. Okay, so we've got the caravan sorted out. We've got Christmas sorted out. Well, we haven't, but it's yeah, we got this episode done. So I'll see you next time. Bye.